Hello, fellow internet degenerates. It's me, Drewbop, and welcome back to Swooning Over Stands. When we last left off, Ford and I had successfully captured a moth from Mothman to complete the recipe for his repellent, and now he has asked little old me if I would like to go on a walk with him in the woods. So, I guess we're gonna see where that walk takes us this episode. Stargazing with him last episode literally had me swooning, some might say. So I am very excited to continue forward through this. This game got me feeling, you know, you all saw the last two episodes. You know how this game makes me feel. Anyway, this is just like a fan fiction I read. We're not far, I promise. I just thought I might answer a few of your questions if you have any. Actually, I do have questions. You must stay in great shape if you do this all day. Girl, could you chill? Huh. You know, actually, this sort of thing isn't part of my exercise regimen. Ford turns left at the stone marker toward the sound of the river, and sure enough, after a while, it comes into view. The moonlight illuminates the water as you walk along it. After following the river for quite a few minutes, the shoreline expands into a small round lake in the center of a clearing. Overhanging it is a large flat rock, the kind that could be used as a less than effective diving board in times of emergency. The emergency being that one just had to jump into the lake. However, neither yourself nor Ford really look in the direction of the diving board. He leads you towards the edge of the lake where a relatively flat boulder could substitute for a bench, and the two of you take a seat. Wow. Break the silence. Okay, ask about the creatures, ask about his family, ask about the shack, ask about staying, ask Ford about the stars. Wait for him. I want to ask him about the stars, because that sounds romantic as hell. You ask Ford if he has a favorite constellation, and his answer comes faster than you expected. Orion and Ursa Major, without a doubt. What about you? I don't know, chat. I need to be so real. I don't know any of these constellations. Please hold while I Google. Okay. I don't know if this is logical. I'm gonna go with Aquila, if that's how you pronounce it. I'm so sorry, astrology people. Just because it's like, it shows I'm knowledgeable, but I'm not just copying what he has to say. Do you know what I mean? That's like the eagle, that's a good one. You could see it in the summertime right up there with the Milky Way. See? Let him know that I'm smart. Okay, we're just gonna ask all the questions, as I like to do. So let's ask him about the other creatures in Gravity Falls. You said to wait, but can I at least get a preview of what I'd be getting into? Not content to leave them to discover yourself, Well, has anyone told you about the Gobblewonker? What the fuck is that? You snort, taken aback by the name, but compose yourself when Ford simply raises an eyebrow. I don't think so, no. Not even in the tourist guide? Does the office even read my letters? Ford mutters to himself something about updating the tourist guide to warn against local dangers. He sighs with a frustration that's reserved for bureaucracy, but soon lightens up at the prospect of getting to introduce you to another strange creature. Well, the Gobblewonker is a large sea creature that lives in this very lake. One could say it's our version of the Loch Ness Monster. My old research assistant apparently saw it at some point. He said it was large, gray, and scaly, with a long neck like a giraffe. You wouldn't have had any odd sightings yet, have you? It's only been 24 hours, but my first encounter with the strange occurred shortly after my arrival as well. Not apart from today, maybe last night. Literally nothing happened last night, I slept. Not apart from today. Well, don't count on that being the norm, Bop. In fact, the norm is a laughable concept here. Let's ask about his family. What's your brother? Do I want to ask him about his brother though? Let's ask him about the kids. Old people love to talk about the children in their life, you know what I mean? Grandparents always want to talk about their grandkids. What's Mabel like? In short, a force to be reckoned with. She radiates charm and positivity and has depths of determination I can only guess at. You'll find out yourself, most likely. It's hard not to wake up one day and find yourself her friend. Perhaps you already are. Cute. He wiggles his fingers spookily in the air and you laugh. I don't doubt it. Chat, we're flirting! Well, ask about Dipper. Dipper is very intelligent. In many ways, he reminds me of, well, myself. Last summer, he found the research journals I mentioned and instead of overlooking them, made some impressive contributions of his own. He has since started his own journal and I look forward to see where life will take him. He's made me prouder than I can say. That's cute. That's cute. Let's ask about the shack. No offense to Stan or Seuss. I'm just like, I'm trying to put my lips on this man. Ah, yes. The Mystery Shack used to be my house once upon a time, and now it's a tourist trap. I'm glad for what it's become as a home. I just wish it weren't so offending to each of the senses. Are you really okay with me staying here? Absolutely. I owe it to you after all. You helping me today, however, was not part of the plan. You're making it rather hard to settle my debt. I think you did me a favor just by letting me come along today. The two of you share a smile. Ford looks out across the lake in thought. Bop, I have to admit, I didn't want to take you with me earlier today. I thought I'd be walking myself into an uncomfortable social situation. So did you, to be honest. And you did well out there. Not many tourists can handle the kind of task we just completed. This had the potential to have gone disastrously. I mean, a butterfly net against Mothman? Easily a 3% success rate. Sometimes, the more Ford speaks, the less reassured you feel until all that's left is a distant unease. You smile and nod anyway. The two of you sit in another moment of quiet, night air pleasantly chill around you until Ford breaks it again. We should head back now. I'm sure Mabel will want to hear we've been successful. You stand and give Ford a hand up from the makeshift bench. Ford takes the lead again, and soon you're no longer able to catch sight of the lake when you glance back. Ford gradually adjusts his pace to yours, walking side by side with you in companionable silence all the way back to the shack. Almost there. You recognize, from the incredibly flashy signs touting phrases like Mystery Shack this way and Sasquatch to your left, that you are extremely close to arriving back at the shack. As you and Ford leave the tree line, you see the bright lights shining on the porch. You make out the faint outline of the kids' shadows as they run through the house and emerge in the attic window, and Mabel pushes it open, leaning out. Grunkle Ford! Finally! You guys took so long, I had to cover waddles in macaroni. Why? Where's your logic here, Queen? Why would you do that? Thank you. Thank you. I have my reasons. Did you get the thing? Yes, and I'm coming inside so we can stop shouting. Bop, come along. We've got a pig to save. Ford strides into the shack, a man on a mission. You grin and follow, but not before taking one last look at the night sky. Yeah, maybe your stay won't be too bad after all. Back inside the shack, the grand conclusion to your expedition to the Mothman's cave is spritzing Mabel's pig with the newly finished deterrent until the poor piglet reeks of lavender. You see Mabel and Dipper head up to bed, looking sleepier than usual as a result. Something about lavender is so soothing to the senses that you crash out fairly soon afterwards, face first on your makeshift bed. What is happening? It's like you were made for each other. Can you give me dating tips? You're good at this. Love meter? Very little. Is this my progress so far? Or is this all I got? Did I not flirt hard enough? Okay, I think, we have a long way to go. I have to up my flirt game. You wake up to a loud crash downstairs. Not entirely uncommon in this house, you're quickly finding out, but still disconcerting. More clatters and thumps lead you to the kitchen, where Mabel teeters on a short step ladder in front of the pantry. Standing on her tiptoes, she reaches as high as she can for a small yellow box on the top shelf. Pancake mix. Without a word, you go to her side and pluck the box from the shelf for her, placing it into her outstretched hand. Oh, Bob! Thank you! Grunkle Stan put it on the top shelf for some reason, but I want to... No, I need some Mabel cakes. It's a breakfast emergency. She waggles her free fingers in your face and you can't help but laugh. You can tell the house becomes more alive when this kid's around. Want to help me make them? We only need chocolate milk, coffee, pink food coloring, and pot of Goldos to make this breakfast dream a breakfast reality. As delicious as that sounds, you're inclined to ask where the coffee comes into the mix when you realize the house is suspiciously quiet. Mabel, where is everybody? Oh, Grunkle Stan needed stuff for your car, so he went to go get mechy techie stuff for that. I think Grunkle Ford's somewhere. He heard the abominable bro man was trying to steal soda from campers, so he went to help them out. Thanks, Dipper. Yep, that's where he went. Totally knew that. So they left you guys to make breakfast on your own? You don't know the family well enough yet to know this is commonplace, so the idea of leaving two teenagers alone to fend for themselves seems fine. If one of the teenagers wasn't Mabel, anyway. You still don't know how coffee fits into her Mabel cakes, but now you don't really want to know. Dipper attempts to hide the pancake mix from Mabel while she's grabbing the chocolate milk from the fridge. Apparently, he doesn't want to find out either. Mabel, while your Mabel cakes sound absolutely divine, why don't we... Quick, think of something so you don't hurt her feelings. Go out for breakfast? Dipper, can you cook? Should we go out for breakfast? That sounds fun. Is there somewhere we can go out to get breakfast? We should really save the Mabel cakes till your great uncles get back. I know they wouldn't want to miss them. But I want to perfect my recipe. I have to get better at cooking and baking and stuff so I can survive out there in the world. What if in high school I'll have to bake stuff and people are better than me? Mabel looks very agitated, tugging at her hair with both hands. If I can't make the perfect Mabel cakes, I can never be on Bad Dreams Dining. I gotta impress Gerald Rambone, Bob. It's my destiny. I'm so sorry, Queen. Calm down, we can cook. Dipper, can you cook? Maybe Dipper can help you make something different. We should save the Mabel cakes for another day, a more special day. But Bob... Mabel, still standing on the stepladder, reaches up and squishes your cheeks together, her eyes widening into your soul. Every day is a special day with Mabel cakes. Okay, Queen, we'll make Mabel cakes. Just give me the answer. Give me the option, we'll make Mabel cakes. You glance at Dipper, making a please help me and I'll buy you breakfast face. You hope he understands. Yeah, Mabel. I know you want to cook more since you're becoming an adult. Sure, but don't you think Grunkle Stan and Great Uncle Ford should be here to try them too? And not just me? Again? Mabel hops off the stepladder and ponders her brother's question, lips pursed. Eventually she nods, beaming at you both. You're right, Dipper. I can't deny them that experience. You give Dipper a thankful smile over Mabel's head as she puts the ingredients back in the refrigerator. He grins back at you, rubbing the back of his neck. You wonder if he got that from one of his grunkles. That's clever, now that you think about it. Great plus uncle to make grunkle saves time on syllables. We should go to Greasy's. They have some of the best pancakes there, with like 3 different kinds of syrup if you ask Lazy Susan nicely. Yeah, it's not super far. Let's go. The kids are about to head out of the kitchen when you realize something. Wait, aren't you going to leave a note for your grunkles about where we're going? I was just about to ask this. I was like, we can't just leave. They're gonna think I kidnapped these children. Oh, right. Good call. Dipper scribbles out a note for Stan and Ford and sticks it on the front door of the shack with one of Mabel's stickers. The kids lead the way toward the town, explaining various landmarks and the wild and wonderful stories attached to them along the way. And this is where we saw those two ghostly old people. In a convenience store? Strange, but you nod regardless. Maybe she just meant they were so old they looked like ghosts. Though, after what you've heard about Gravity Falls already, you could believe they were real ghosts. Dipper points out the diner in the distance, a log-shaped building atop a train cart, and the three of you head inside. You soon realize that the kids know just about everyone in this town. Several people, young and old, wave at them as the three of you find a table, and you get the feeling that they're almost famous in Gravity Falls, though you're not entirely sure why. They're pretty cute though. Mabel blows the paper wrapper of her straw at Dipper's face, and he retaliates by swatting her with a laminated menu. An elderly woman in a pastel pink waitress dress comes up to the table, and you catch the name on her tag, Susan. Hiya kids, and stranger, what can I get for ya? Pancakes and all 3 syrups for me, please, Lazy Susan. Same for me, actually. Lazy Susan turns to you, notepad in hand. What will you get? Well, if we're all getting pancakes, I'm gonna get pancakes, obviously. Coming right up, sweetie. Normally I would get eggs, but it's pancake day, so we're doing pancakes. Lazy Susan winks, with her good eye, of course, and heads to the back of the diner. The wait for your food to arrive feels longer here than most, mainly due to Mabel and Dipper using this time to interrogate you. At first, it's somewhat intimidating. You literally crashed into their house and started hanging out with their great-uncles, so they have a lot of questions. Once the irrational fear of 2 13-year-olds fades out, you recognize their interview for what it really is. They care about their grunkles. If you do start hanging out more with them, they want to know as much about you as possible. Mabel's questions are somewhat nonsensical. So, if you were stranded on a deserted island with no boat, no cheating, what would you take with you? While Dippers are more careful and calculated. What were you doing before you came here? School? Work? Both? Neither? Did you know about Gravity Falls before you crashed into the shack? You immediately know which grunkle each twin takes after. Stan and Mabel, goofy partners in crime, versus the brainiacs, Ford and Dipper. It's an intriguing contrast, especially now that you're thrown into the middle of the bunch. But as the twins race to see which syrup bottle drips into their mouths the fastest, Dipper's blueberry syrup beats Mabel's classic maple by half a millisecond, you swear on it. You know that these kids do a lot more for their great uncles than just be cute counterparts. And here we go. Enjoy, kiddos. Let me know if you need anything else. Lazy Susan gives out their respective plates, and the kids go quiet, shoveling down their food like they've never been fed before. Between mouthfuls, you get a few more questions about yourself and your theories on aliens versus which member of M Synchronized was your favorite, but the table is near silent as the 3 of you eat. That is, until Mabel speaks up through a mouthful of pancake. So, Bop, if in a totally made-up and not real situation, you had to pick who your favorite was, who'd you pick? Grunkle Stan or Grunkle Ford? This seems too planned compared to her other cutesy questions. Dipper elbows his sister not so subtly, and she elbows him right back, wide eyes staring at him in a sibling-linked look you can't decipher. Like, say you're in a movie. Like one of those weird movies Grunkle Stan watches on TV with the ladies in poofy dresses riding horses. Awfully specific, but you let her continue, taking another bite of your food. You're the main character of this movie, and you've got 2 guys who are both madly in love with you. This one doesn't mess around with getting right to the point, huh? But you could only marry one of them, so you could be the next in line for the throne. What would you do? If Grunkle Stan and Grunkle Ford were your choices, who would you go with? Mabel, that's kind of weird, isn't it? Like, really weird. And kind of gross. Come on, Dipper. This is important information that's vital to my research. What research? None of your business. Yet. I'm still gathering other research. Mabel leans towards Dipper's ear to whisper, waggling her brow at you before she replies, in not a whisper, but quite the opposite. Research into how you're a huge nerd. Got him, queen. And with that, Mabel catapults the spoonful of melted butter from atop her pancakes onto Dipper's cheek with a very satisfying splat. Dipper jerks in disgust but retaliates by smearing strawberry syrup onto Mabel's nose, a drop of stickiness plopping onto her sweater. Ew, gross. You're gross. There's no vitriol between the twins, but lots of giggles and a few more various food missiles. Eventually, syrup streaks Mabel's cheekbones and some of her hair, and Dipper has a small piece of pancake stuck to his face. You guys are dorks. Maybe you're right, but we're twins, so it's adorable. I like that we just got to breeze by the question. If you say so, Mabel. Wait, quick, Bob, take a picture of us while Dipper's got pancake on his face. I have what? He swipes quickly at his face and after several passes gets it off. Aww, I was trying to get more candid pictures of us. Mabel, you have syrup everywhere. Really? Ugh, then it would have been a perfect photo. Here, let me get it. Your hands are sticky enough. You get back up with napkin in hand and try to wipe some of the syrup off Mabel's cheeks. The excess syrup swipes off easily, but a good portion doesn't budge. I mean, maybe syrup as makeup is the next new look. That's one word for it, kid. Oh my god, they're here at the diner. It's a family affair. We wondered where you went once we came back to a suspiciously quiet house. If it weren't for Dipper's note, we would have been worried. Sixer would have been worried. I tried to tell him you kids pull this kind of stuff all the time. Heading out unannounced, putting stress on your poor old grunkle's heart. He puts a hand over his heart dramatically. All those missing hours of unpaid child labor. Actually, that note wasn't me. Well, I wrote it, but Bob's the one who said we should, so that you'd know where we went. Thanks, Dipper. Thanks, tiny wingman. Both Ford and Stan turn to look at you, surprised. Really? Figured these two knuckleheads dragged you out here. Why not make breakfast at home? This place is at least a 15-minute walk from the shack. Well... You glance at Dipper, swiping his finger across Mabel's cheek and licking the blueberry syrup off. Mabel has a pancake in her mouth, chewing on it like a grazing sheep. I wanted to treat them to something, I guess. It's the least I can do. You're letting me stay with you and fixing my car. I thought since you were gone, I'd take these two out for a change. Also, Mabel was gonna make Mabel cakes again. You're just mad you can't even make toast right. What? Yes, I can. I burned it one time. One time. Dipper holds his syrup-tipped fingers in the air, indignant. Well, Mabel wanted you guys to enjoy her Mabel cakes too, and since there wasn't much food, I figured I'd take them out. Stan snatches the pancake from Mabel's mouth and takes a bite out of it, cackling when she stands on the seat to try and grab it back, climbing over Dipper to reach. Aside from the kerfuffle, you catch Ford's eye. Was he staring at you? Ah. Ah. Be chill. As soon as he realizes, he quickly sets his gaze elsewhere, looking over your head and out the window. You'd say that he probably just shifted his attention, but his finger hooks under the high neck of his sweater and tugs at it. He's sweating looking at me. Feelings mutual. Feelings are mutual, babe, don't worry. He's blushing. Well, Bob, I really appreciate you looking after Dipper and Mabel for, us. It was very kind of you to bring them here. Oh, it wasn't a big deal, really. I'm happy to help. You smile at him, pretending you don't feel how warm your face is. Maybe it's just hot and greasy. Ford looks close to the shade of his sweater. We're so unsubtle. Dipper mumbles an ow, and you catch Mabel elbowing his side, waggling her brows at him. You're not sure why. Well, kid, if you're paying, scoot over, Dipper. I want breakfast too. Stanley, it's at least 12:30 now. Grunkle Ford, that means it's time for brunch. Duh. See, this kid gets me. Now let me in so I can grab some grub. Dipper moves to your side of the booth as Stan sits next to Mabel and Ford sits at Dipper's side. Lazy Susan comes back and takes orders for another round of food and drinks for everyone, including Mabel, who decided she wants more pancakes. You're starting to regret offering to pay, but as Stan and Mabel try their hand at the syrup drip race with Dipper cheering them on, Ford watching with a wide grin on his face, you know you don't really mind that much. After the expedition to find Mothman, you accompanied Ford on a few other missions, so to speak, examining various birds of the forest, including the questionable, stomach-faced duck, who snatched your sandwich and quickly ran off, Ford in hot pursuit. While he didn't find what evidence he needed, something to do with their digestive systems, you both decided that the stomach-faced duck flock were questionable. Not as questionable as the question quail, which he shows you from a scan journal page, but still questionable. You asked why he decided the hoctopus was too stupid to study, but received a loud groan and too sticky as an answer. Valid point. All in all, your adventures with Ford have been more enjoyable than you'd expected, and you can't help but hope that you'll get to experience another one with him soon. You walk through the living room, lost in thought about question quails and Ford's journal pages, and narrowly avoid slipping on a sheet of graph paper. Ah, don't look! Oh. It's you. Dipper peers out over a book that proclaims DD and More D, officially licensed campaign journal. He's sitting on the yellow armchair with crisscross legs, barricaded in with books and papers. He's got a lap of multicolored dice and half a dozen chewed pencils strewn across the floor, and one in his mouth. You look down and notice the floor is almost entirely covered in graph paper. Hi? Did you need something? I know it's kinda messy. I should probably clean that up. Dipper looks reluctant to extract himself from his self-constructed fantasy lore prison. Here, I can do it. You look busy. You're about halfway through cleaning the floor before you actually start looking at what's on the various sheets you're holding. A fantasy map, some floor plans, and countless scribbled notes and calculations in the margins. What are these for? Planning something? Dipper's re-immersed in his planning. He startles a little when you ask. Oh, right. No big deal. It's just for this great pen and paper role-playing game called Dungeons, Dungeons, and More Dungeons. DD and MD for short. It's all about fantasy worlds and statistics and swords and, well, it's kind of difficult to explain, but it's super fun. I'm playing it with Grunkle Ford today, so I'm just putting down the final touches on my dungeon. He's gonna be so stumped. Stumped, you say? There's my baby girl. Ford comes into the room at that precise moment, drying his hands on his trench coat. Perfect timing, Dipper. I just managed to get the paint off my hands. Paint from what? Oh, one of the gnomes came by and decided he'd graffitied the side of the house. Something about his rapper persona. Yeesh. Yes, I don't think J. Gnomesy is going anywhere in the music business. In any event, I see you've been hard at work. Are you ready for our game? Yes. And, oh, Bop, I can take those now. Thanks for the help. Ford looks like he just noticed you standing there for the first time since he entered the room. Bop! Glad to see you weren't too shaken up by our adventure yesterday. You grin and hand Dipper the tall stack of papers, catching a glimpse of the stats for a knock-knock skull. Well, I made it back in one piece, right? That's the spirit. Though 90% of a piece would have been good too. You know, you never realize how little a difference 10% makes until you lose it. Uh-huh. So how was the Mothman? Shaken up. All in the name of research, though. I've seen it lose a few moths and come back the next week good as new, a process akin to cycling about dead cells. I would say we just expedited that process. No moral issues there. Well, Bop, the game calls and I must answer. Stanley's about if you're looking for him. Though, well, if you wanted to join our game, I certainly wouldn't object. I can promise a fun afternoon. Another player! Yeah, totally! I can give you a pre-made character sheet to start, and dice. Shoot, where'd I put my other set? Don't worry, I've got an extra set. Me? I don't even know how to play. Oh man, there are so many rules. Where to start? I mean, it's really easy to pick up. It's even, like, kind of popular now. You're not sure about committing the whole afternoon to this game with Ford, though Dipper does seem pretty excited about it. But Stan's around too, and you wanted to go check on your car. Well, think about it, Bob. Dipper, my boy, why don't you and I get things set up in the meantime? Ford and Dipper launch into fantasy lore talk as they prop up a corkboard against the yellow armchair, pin up various maps and floor plans with important landmarks, and append their pouches of dice onto the carpet. Okay, this is the perfect place to save. Thank you everybody so much for watching. My little heart, this game is so cute. Once again, thank you all for indulging me. I understand that I'm like a huge nerd, but I just love this shit. I love a good dating sim. I can't help it. I can't help it. If you like hanging out with me and if you like watching my videos, please feel free to subscribe to the YouTube channel. I like to put out videos usually once a week. Sometimes you get a little bonus video every once in a while. And for those looking for more content from me, you can also follow me on Twitch. That's gonna be twitch.tv/its_me_drbop. We have a lot of fun over there and it gets weird. So if you like having fun and getting weird, head over to the Twitch. And for those who want to keep up to date with what I'm doing, stream schedules, when videos are coming out, you can follow me on social media. My handle is @its_me_drubop. And of course, all of the links to my socials will be in the description below. In the next episode, we're gonna play some DD&D, so hopefully I don't blow it and hopefully my character doesn't die. So fingers crossed for me, everybody. I'll see you next time.